This is Vienna. Grand and graceful, a city of legendary cafes, delicious food, and a unique story that brought it all together. I'm here to uncover some of those roots and dive into the blend of tradition and innovation that the Austrian capital has to offer.
In this series with Kurukahveci Mehmet Efendi, we have been tracing the historic coffee trail west from Turkey, through the Balkans, and into Europe. And we're ending our coffee journey here in Vienna, just like the Ottomans back in 1683, who also happened to leave behind a little gift.
Or so the legend goes. After the Ottomans retreated from the Siege of Vienna, it's said that they left behind a few mysterious sacks of small beans, which were eventually identified by Jerzy Franciszek Kulczycki, a nobleman, diplomat, and spy, born in what is now Ukraine.
So to continue the legend, it would have been right here in this area, just off Freyung Square, that Kulczycki supposedly opened his first coffee house using the green beans that the Ottomans left behind. So, of course, this is more or less legend of Viennese coffee history, but it is a nice story.
And as it turns out, I had another coffee surprise waiting for me at breakfast.
So I find this hilarious because in all our travels around Europe, we've been looking for Ottoman presence, Turkish coffee, but here we are in, to me, a random bar, cafe here in Vienna, and Turkish coffee is on the menu. So I couldn't help myself, I had to order it. It's really well balanced, it's sweet. I don't know what brand they're using, but I love the presentation. It's just, I mean, you barely find this in Turkey these days. You'll never guess, but I was drinking this Turkish coffee and I asked them, what's the brand, what's the roaster? Turns out, it is indeed Kurukahveci Mehmet Efendi with the German. Great way to start the day. First coffee of the trip, and we're already getting off on the right foot.
But now it was time to dive right into coffeehouse history at one of the most legendary cafes in Vienna.
Ein Turkish coffee?
Turkish, we don't have at the moment.
You don't have it at
Café Landtmann.
Reminds me of my mom's apple pie, but of course this is very different. I've been trying to understand the main difference between the cappuccino and this drink, the mélange. I still haven't gotten there yet. I think it's very, very similar, but what I've heard is it's much more about the presentation. You know, being in the coffee house, being in this Austrian elegance and surrounded by so much history, it's kind of like, it's more about the service itself. Sometimes served on a silver platter, in this case what looks like a gold or copper handle. Let's take a sip. Very good, very smooth. And while I'm not typically a milk coffee man, this is gonna go great with this. This is like a pond of vanilla apple strudel. Something super iconic, super Viennese. Believe it or not, it has Ottoman roots, all right? So you might look at this cake and think it's almost like a soup with this vanilla sauce, but going back to the Ottoman influence in this area, even the Austro-Hungarian connection, it's actually coming from the baklava, right? Which is obviously a very Turkish dessert. Over the years, the kitchens and the cuisine sort of collided, started to mix. And you can see almost like this phyllo pastry, a bit of the apple in there, which brings in a lot more of this region, and the cinnamon and the sugar on top. Even though I didn't get to try my Turkish coffee here, I went for something still with Ottoman roots. Oh wow.
Dodging rain showers, I made my way through the historic architecture of Vienna's inner city, where the first cafes would have emerged in the turn of the 16th and 17th century.
So here we are trotting along like these horses here in the rain, but we came across Café Central, which is very similar to Grand Central Cafe, which we came across in Budapest, as sort of this hub for intellectuals and politicians and writers and creative types. This place opened in 1876. Apparently people would sit in the threshold in the doorway and just chat and dispute about things for hours, some of which including Sigmund Freud. Seems like they've kept that culture alive here with all the people hanging out in the doorway in this lineup.
But personally, I didn't feel like standing out in the rain. So the next morning, I took a little tram ride to visit my friends at a more modern coffee shop.
Welcome to Gotha.
Now a bustling hub for the local community.
So we started the whole coffee concept in 2017, starting very small with 8 seats.
We have this setup together with a flower shop already for 4 years now.
It was nice for me walking through the flower shop to get here because it brought me back to my first cafe in Toronto. We actually started with doing like a flower pop-up.
I didn't like coffee in the beginning. The way that we drank it in Austria was very traditional and I did not like the taste. So I visited my sister, she was living in Peru. I took the chance to try coffee there. And at that point, coffee was totally different. I had flavors that I've never tasted before. And when we returned to Vienna, we wanted to give that experience to our future customers and we decided to open the coffee shop. So I think the traditional coffee houses, as we call them in Vienna, they were meant to create a community, to have some food, to have some cakes and pastries and read the newspaper and get just educated and informed whatever happens around the world. With the specialty coffee movement, coffee came first. Here in our neighborhood we have the best vegetable markets. They are run by Turkish men.
Yeah.
The best products around here, they are run by people from the Balkans. Yeah? So they really want to share their experience as well. We are not only serving coffee, but we also have a special coffee menu where we have a well-sorted wine list. We have 7 different coffees that you can try individually every day, either on espresso or on filter coffee.
What do you think's next for coffee in the future?
Combining coffee with different ingredients, cocktails or anti-alcoholic cocktails is a great way for drinking coffee and for consuming coffee for the future. And especially for coffee shops, I think they need to be more creative and not only serve coffee anymore and see that coffee is different every day. So every coffee shop will have their own signatures maybe and get people more into the beautiful topic of coffee.
Wow.
That's the gota.
This is the Indonesian coffee. So it's really nice to be here in the very vibrant shop, which got even busier a few months ago,
yes.
Right? When you got the...
#1 in Europe and #3 in the world.
And I would be amiss if I didn't take us out for a local delicacy.
Here we are at Stern, which is a very classic Wiener Schnitzel place. Classic is always with veal, but you can of course make it with other meats. Very good, very tender. The important thing is what makes schnitzel schnitzel. It's pounded to about 4 millimeters thick, and then it's breaded with some flour, dipped in egg, as well as breadcrumbs. And then it's fried and heated. But interestingly, similar to coffee, it's not original to the city. Apparently it came from Italy, with a bit of lemon as well. The common accompaniment, which is the potato salad. Just like my mother used to make. So after our search around Vienna for a little bit of that Ottoman touch, we found Café Museum because it's got some Turkish coffee and I really want to check it out. Okay. Oh, really?
Like you can taste it at home.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible. Nice little gift from Landtmann's. That's super nice. Check it out. Ooh. Okay, so we're gonna have to share this with the team. But for now, just such an incredible way to wrap up our tour from Turkey through the Balkans and finally here in Vienna, Austria, sipping on Kurukahveci Mehmet Efendi here at Café Museum. So let's finally, what we've been looking for all over Vienna, a nice Turkish coffee. And it's a really interesting cup too because it has no handle. So it's already at the perfect temperature because they bring it to you already in the jezva. And they have their own cooking technique back in the kitchen. So he told me they basically foam it up 3 times, leave it in the jezva, perfect amount of foam, and then by the time that you're ready to pour, it's a great temperature. Okay, I don't want to drink all of it now because I have to pair it with all these sweets. We of course have the Mozart cake, which was sort of named after Mozart, even though he probably didn't eat this cake himself. But what I love about it too, and kind of linking it back to the Ottoman connection, is it's got pistachio cream in it, as well as chocolate, and as well as nougat, and some other sweet ingredients. And last but not least, of course, we have lokum, Turkish delight. So a lot of sweets to balance out the bitterness of the coffee here. So we learned about how coffee 500 years ago started to make its way from Turkey through Edirne, crossing the border into what is now known as Bulgaria. Made our way through Thessaloniki, of course, amazing coffee connection in Greece, Sarajevo, through the elegance and opulence of Budapest in Hungary, concluding here in Vienna, Austria. Coming back right where it started with a nice Turkish coffee. Afiyet olsun.
Thank you for joining us to trace the Turkish coffee trail, a journey through history, tradition, and also a chance to see some of the exciting advancements in the ever-expanding world of coffee. See you next time.